Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here with another Pokemon Sword and Shield moveset video guide on how to use Centiskorch. We'll be talking about Centiskorch in this video, the fire and bug type Pokemon. I'm actually a pretty big fan of Centiskorch. I just wish it was faster. I really do. I thought when we first got this thing revealed that it'd be kind of like Scolipede, that it'd actually be really fast and have access to moves like Swords Dance and whatnot, but that doesn't turn out to be the case with Centiskorch, unfortunately. However, it does have base 100 HP, really good attack stat at base 115, and pretty respectable special defense and special attack at base 90 apiece. So we're talking a little bit about it. It also has a Gigantamax form that has the G-Max move Centinferno, which is a fire type attack that's 140 base power, and it traps the opponent in flames for 4 to 5 turns, basically kind of like a magma storm or a fire spin type thing. In a sense that it does the damage turn per turn. But, talk a little bit about this Pokemon. So obviously being fire and bug, you would hate moves like Stealth Rock, which is why Heavy Duty Boots is probably the item you're going to be running most on this Pokemon. Heavy Duty Boots allowing it to take nothing from hazard damage, letting it come in and out without having to worry about Stealth Rock itself. The first set we're going to be talking about though is the Rest Talk set that actually can work in the OU tier. Where Pokemon like Life Orb, Clefable are very, very popular. This is a set that can actually be a nice little check to that, as well as an answer to Galarian Darmanitan, and even tank hits from the likes of Dragapult if need be, as well as coming in on Pokemon like Ferrothorn. So the idea behind this Pokemon is that you have the Flash Fire ability, which allows you to take fire moves from Clefable, Life Orb, Flamethrower from Clefable, which is something that is running around. As well as Galarian Darmanitan cannot 2-hit KO you with the Icicle Crash, but most importantly, it can't Flare Blitz you either to do a lot versus you. And also just being able to come in on like Will-O-Wisp, for instance, from Rotom Heat is really nice. But it's a Rest Talk set. We have Rest and Sleep Talk for longevity. Fire Lash is our main move. It has a 100% chance to lower the opponent's defense by 1, and it's 80 base power and 100% accurate. So it's a fantastic move that allows you to 1v1 Pokemon like Clefable, and also is just a strong move in general, obviously giving you a nice way of breaking through walls. We have Knockoff as well for getting rid of the items on Pokemon that you might not want to handle necessarily, but getting rid of them can help them help teammates wear them down. For example, knocking off Amanda Buzz's Heavy Duty Boots will make it take Stealth Rock damage every single time it comes in if Stealth Rock are up. But this is a Pokemon that can handle Pokemon like Clefable as well as Hatterene, and even Pokemon like Dragapult. With Knockoff getting rid of Dragapult's item. The EV spread allows it to take 2 Specs Draco Meteors, and the speed is enough for a minimum speed Corviknight, so we can outspeed that thing and hit it with a Fire Lash. In terms of teammates, Seismitoad, Toxapex, Rotom Wash are absolutely great. Basically, they really love Centiskorch's ability to deal with offensive Clefable, which is something that's running around right now. And obviously Toxic Spike support from Toxapex is really cool, allowing Centiskorch to wear things down even more with the combination of Knockoff and of course the T-Spikes on the field. And it just becomes a really solid switch into the likes of, well, in terms of those teammates, they help deal with the water type attacks aimed at Centiskorch as well as the rock type attacks. So Barraskewda, Gyarados, Tyranitar are checked by Pokemon like Seismitoad, Toxapex, Rotom Wash, and that's something that Centiskorch obviously really does like. Is also, you kind of want teammates though that can deal with Pokemon that take advantage of Toxapex. Toxapex is something that can just sit in on Centiskorch if it really wants to and haze the defense drop, so you can't eventually beat it as well with like Fire Lash and drops from there to knock it off, because it will haze, it can toxic you and scald you and stall you out. So great teammates would be like Hatterene, Life Orb Clefable with Thunderbolt and Magic Guard, as well as even Reuniclus and other psychic types in the tier. And again, if your team is decently weak to Darmanitan, this is a pretty decent check to it. I say it's a check, it's not a counter. Choice Band Darmanitan Earthquake is 2-hit KOing this Pokemon 100% of the time. But they're really, Ferrothorn is also like a really nice partner with it, because it also gets up opposing hazards, and it also checks Pokemon like Excadrill, for instance. Corviknight can do the exact same thing, checking a Pokemon like Excadrill for like Rock Slide that would otherwise come out at the Corviknight. But much like that, they appreciate Centiskorch's ability to deal with the fire type attacks aimed at them. The next set we have is a Coil 3 attack sets, and like I said, you guys can use these things on Gigantamax if they are allowed, depending on where you are playing, in what tournament or what type of what type of game mode you're playing, right? Obviously, battle spot, singles, casuals, 6v6, Mogon. Though of course, Gigantamax is something you can't really use on the ranked battle spot ladder, but this set is kind of one that I feel like has just been there since the beginning when Centiskorch came out. But Coil 3 attacks, and the idea is Coil, Fire Lash, Leech Life, and Power Whip. Leech Life is really cool because it's 80 base power, and you recover 50% of the damage dealt. So obviously you still have the heavy duty boots, that way you can avoid the hazard damage, but Leech Life also gives you nice recovery, and this can be a more offensive check to those Pokemon like Clefable. I would still run Flash Fire on this set as well. You want to be able to come in on moves like Flamethrower. Power Whip gives you a way of dealing with water types. It also gives you a nice little KO on specific water types like Seismitoad and Gastrodon. Adamant max attack, max speed outspeeds anything, basically like the Corviknights that are not running max speed themselves, and also can help you outspeed supportive T-Tars or Tyrantars rather, and even in lower tiers, it can just be really cool for outspeeding something like Araquanid. If you're boosted already, you can break through it, and this Pokemon just has a nice little field day versus those teams that kind of, especially in like specifically UU, where maybe those cores that have Umbreon, Hippowdon, Caporaja type of builds, as long as Caporaja isn't running a rock move, for instance. This is a Pokemon that can break through those type of builds. So just max attack, max speed. That way we can have the most chances to actually get off attacks. And I just really do like this Pokemon's ability. It also is a nice little check to fairy types like Alcremie, Combine Alcremie in the tier 2. The next set we have is a more physically defensive set of Centiskorch. Now, Centiskorch does not have the best defense, right? 65 base defense, really unfortunate, but when you pack that with its decent resistances and 100 base HP, which maxes out at 404 at level 100, it can still tank hits from some premier fighting types like Como, for instance, as well as Sirfetch'd that's not running Brave Bird, Mamoswine to an extent, and Durant as well, which is obviously, those are not fighting types, Mamoswine and Durant. Or Caporaja, I already mentioned earlier, it can be a check to that, Lucario and Beware. Be careful about Beware though, obviously, Double Edge will still hurt, Banded Double Edge will hurt, but resisting Lucario's close combat and being able to come in on that, really nice for Centiskorch. Will-O-Wisp gives you a way of crippling those physical attackers, and this Pokemon can be very annoying for stall type builds too. That maybe rely on Avalugg and Umbreon and Hippowdon, because you burn those. You burn Hippowdon, as long as it's not running a rock move, it doesn't care. You knock it off, you Fire Lash to break through its defenses, you Leech Life on Umbreon, you burn Avalugg, that way it can't take as many physical hits with that burn damage you'll be taking turn per turn. So heavy duty boots as well, always on this thing, and just Fire Lash, Leech Life, and Knock Off here. Knock Off just for getting rid of your opponent's item. I think it's very necessary. And again, if you want to use this one in higher tiers, I would use the Rest Talk one specifically on like a balanced type of build. But yeah, if you want to use that type of Centiskorch, it can definitely work. And the last set we have is a Choice Band one. Obviously, that base 115 attack stat is nothing to laugh at, with strong moves and accurate moves as well, which that's the thing I like about Centiskorch, right? Besides Power Whip, its best moves are accurate. It's Fire Lash, Leech Life, and Knock Off cannot miss, but that's the main way you're going to be doing this thing for attacks Choice Band. I do think the other sets are a little bit better, and I think the Heavy Duty Boots is better as well. You can run either Flame Body or Flash Fire on this set. I have Flame Body specifically. Punish something on a U-turn, bring this Pokemon in, let them get a potential burn, or if something wants to revenge kill me, like I can come in on offensive fighting types, for instance, and at least threaten them with the Fire Lash, the Power Whip, respectively. But depending on their set, of course. Knock Off, again, getting rid of the items can be the difference between beating a Pokemon or not. Everything's running heavy duty boots, like Centiskorch, for instance. If it's not running heavy duty boots, it's taking 50% from rocks. So getting rid of opposing heavy duty boots can really be nice. And this thing just hits incredibly hard with a Choice Band. In terms of counters, if it's not running heavy duty boots, Stealth Rock is great. While it can wall Rotom Heat to an extent, if it's a nasty plot Rotom Heat, that's something that can just boost alongside it and beat it 1v1. Obviously, Toxapex is something that is very scary. And in terms of offensive fighting types, Como can kind of just boost through it, as well as it's using Clanger's Soul, and from there just hitting it with special type attacks. But overall, it's a really cool Pokemon, and I'm going to have a lot of fun using it in the OU tier a little bit later today, so you guys can stay tuned for a Showdown Live coming out today. Of course, if you did enjoy the video or learn something, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, helping out my channel, and yeah, I'm excited to definitely use this Pokemon. One other thing to note is that it does have a base 90 special attack stat, right? It does have a base 90 special attack stat. Did I even mention what Coil did? Boosting its attack, defense, and accuracy. I'm so sorry. Let's go back to the Coil set real quick. I don't think I mentioned what Coil did, but it gives you a nice attack, defense, and accuracy raise, so Power Whip cannot miss, and it boosts your Fire Lash, Leech Life, and Power Whip respectively. Wow, it's late at night. I apologize for glossing over that, but a few things, at least on the special side. It does have access to Mystical Fire, so it's a 100% chance to lower the target's special attack stat, so I'm assuming you could use that, but besides that, it doesn't really have a good special move pool, like, at all. It does learn Scald, but yeah, not really. I don't know. I feel like you burn them with Will-O-Wisp or just rather use Fire Flash. I guess Bug Buzz and Mystical Fire are kind of what you need, but outside of that, Bug Buzz, Mystical Fire, and Scald are not bad special moves at all. So I didn't specifically make a set, but having 90 base special attack and maybe in a draft league of sorts where you are catering your Centiskorch's build and EV spread to what your opponent actually has in your team that you're able to see, something like that could work. But for the most part, I do think that you're going to be seeing this Pokemon run a physical set. But yeah, I think that's it. Lunge is also something that could potentially be used on the physically defensive set. I'm just talking at this point, just because it lowers the target's attack stat, but Leech Life does give you that recovery. But I think that's it. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, my friends.